Hello everyone, my name is Zarina Jamaluddin from TKM College of Engineering. Today we are going to discuss about error probability for BFSK. So here we will go through representation in signal space, then error probability, then block diagram of generation and detection. So in BFSK we have two symbols, right? 1 and 0. That is represented by signal S1T and S2T. Okay, that is given here. S1T is represented as S1T is equal to root of 2EB by TB cos 2 pi F1T, as well as S2T is equal to root of 2EB by TB cos 2 pi F2T. Each signals is of duration TB, and EB is the transmitted signal energy per bit. Okay, so the signal S1T and S2T are orthogonal. As a result, the orthonormal basis function phi1t and phi2t can be written as phi1t is equal to root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi F1t and phi2t is equal to root of 2 by TB cos 2 pi F2t, both of duration TB. Okay, when we compare this equation of phi1t and phi2t with the previous equation which is shown in the slide of S1t and S2t, we can write it as, here S1t, the modified equation of S1t can be written as root of EB phi1t. Similarly, S2t can be written as root of EB phi2t. Okay, so looking at this equation, we can say that here our signal space is two dimension because we have only two axes of phi1t and phi2t. Okay, now we are going to calculate the components of S1t and S2t. Since we have two orthonormal basis function, we have only two components for S1t as well as for S2t. So what will be the components of S1t? That is S11 and S12. Okay, S11 corresponds to the phi1t axis, S12 corresponds to the phi2t axis. So these are the two components of S1t. Similarly, when we calculate the components of S2t, we can write it as S21 and S22. Okay, so we are going to calculate these components of S1t and S2t with the help of signal space analysis. In that we have already discussed about an analysis equation that we are going to use here. So how we can calculate S11? S11 is equal to integration 0 to TB S1t phi1t dt. So after calculating, we got it as root of EB. Similarly, we have calculated S12, that is equal to 0. Now how we can write the signal vector S1? S1 is equal to S11 and S12. That is written here, S1 is equal to root of EB, which is the value of S11, and 0 which is the value of S12. Similarly, we have calculated signal vector S2, which has two components, S21 and S22, that is 0 and root EB. After calculating, we got it as 0 and root EB. Okay, now the distance between two message points in BFSK, it is found as root of 2EB compared with your BPSK, which is 2 root EB. Now we are going to discuss about signal space diagram of our BFSK. In that we will see how we will get the distance between two message points as root of 2EB. If you look at the signal space diagram of BPSK, you can calculate the distance between two message points as 2 root of EB. Now here we are going to discuss about signal space diagram for BFSK. So this is your signal space diagram for BFSK. First of all, we need to draw the axis. So as we know that we have only two orthonormal basis function, so we have only two axes, that is your phi 1t and phi 2t. Now we are going to point out the components, that is S11, S12, S21 and S22 in this particular axis. Okay, we know that S11 is equal to root of EB, S12 is equal to 0 and S21 is equal to 0 as well as S22 is equal to root of EB, right? So that we have pointed in this axis of phi 1 and phi 2. Okay, now next point is to connect or join your message point, which is shown as message point M1 and message point M2, which has the value of root of EB. The other 2 points are at 0, that's why we don't need to connect it, right? So we are going to connect message point M1 and message point M2. Okay, so join these 2 points, draw a perpendicular bisector to get decision boundary. Okay, so with the by drawing this decision boundary, we can split into two regions, that is region Z1 and region Z2. Okay, now we can calculate the distance between M1 and M2. So you can see a kind of triangle. Okay, so by that we can calculate the distance between message point M1 and message point M2. So that is equal to root of 2EB. Now, as we know that if your observation vector comes anywhere in Z1 region, then the receiver decides in favor of symbol 1 or S1t. Similarly, if the observation vector comes anywhere in Z2 region, then receiver decides in favor of symbol 0 or S2t. Okay, so this is your signal space diagram. Next step is to calculate your observation vector x. Similarly, as we have calculated signal vector S1 and S2. Okay, so here we are going to calculate observation vector x. It has two components because as we know that we have only two orthonormal basis function. So by using analysis equation, we can calculate x1 and x2. Same formula as we have used in calculating signal vectors. Okay, components of signal vectors. So x1 is equal to integration of 0 to tb xt phi 1t dt. x2 is equal to integration 0 to tb xt phi 2t dt. Okay, so from where we got this observation vector x? From the received signal xt. So as we know that whenever signal SIT goes through the channel, noise get added with this signal, right? So SIT plus WT is equal to XT. XT is the signal which is going towards your receiver section. When XT goes to your receiver consists of a bank of correlator. Okay, so the output of this bank of correlator, that is your observation vector x, and it has the components x1 and x2. Now, as we know, in our signal space diagram, we have two regions. It is partitioned into two regions, Z1 and Z2 region. Okay, as I have told you, if the received signal point or your observation vector falls inside Z1 region, then the receiver decides in favor of symbol 1 or S1t. This occurs when x1 is greater than x2. Okay, x1 and x2 are the components of observation vector x. Similarly, if the observation vector lies anywhere in the Z2 region, then the receiver decides in favor of symbol 0 and the condition is x1 will be less than x2. Okay, if the received vector lies on the decision boundary, that is x1 is equal to x2, then the receiver makes a random guess in favor of either symbol 1 or symbol 0. Now we are going to calculate the error probability for BFSK. So for calculating this, first we need to assume that signal S2T or symbol 0 was transmitted. Let us assume signal S2T was transmitted, right? So what will be the received signal equation? So here xt becomes S2T plus Wt. Okay, so where Wt is your AWGN noise with 0 mean and power spectral density N0 by 2. Now we are assuming that error occurs when the observation vector x lies anywhere in the region Z1. Okay, since we are transmitting S2T or symbol 0, actually your observation vector should lie in Z2 region, but here we are assuming that error occurs when does error occur? Error occur when observation vector x lie in your Z1 region, and the condition for that is x1 is greater than x2. Now we are going to introduce a new Gaussian random variable here, that is y. Let y be a new Gaussian random variable whose sample value is equal to the difference between x1 and x2. So how we can write it? Y is equal to x1 minus x2, since here x1 is greater than x2. Y is equal to x1 minus x2. Now the next step is to calculate the mean and variance of y. As we have calculated in your BPSK, now our next step in error probability is to calculate mean and variance. Okay, so the mean value of the random variable y depends on which binary symbol was transmitted. Okay, so for calculating the mean value of y, here we have two binary symbols, right? 1 and 0. So we need to calculate the mean of y for symbol 1 as well as for symbol 0. So first we are going to calculate for symbol 1, that is expectation of y given 1. Okay, expectation of y given that symbol 1 was transmitted. That will be equal to expectation of x1 given 1 minus expectation of x2 given 1. Here expectation of x1 given 1, that is actually expectation of S11 plus W1 minus expectation of S12 plus W2. So in this case we have only expectation of S11 minus expectation of S12, because W1 and W2 are 0, since it is AWGN noise with 0 mean, right? So expectation of S11, what is the value of S11? Root of EB. What is the value of S12? That is 0. We have already calculated, right? So expectation of a constant term is that particular constant term. So root of EB minus 0, that is equal to root of EB. Similarly, now we need to calculate mean of y given that symbol 0 was transmitted. Okay, so this is equal to expectation of S21 plus W1 minus expectation of S22 plus W2. Then we need to write the values of S21 and S22, that is 0 and root of EB. So by substituting this value, you will get 0 minus root of EB, that is equal to minus root of EB. So in this way we have calculated mean of y for symbols 1 and 0. Now we need to calculate the variance of random variable y. Okay, so the variance of random variable y is independent of which binary symbol was transmitted. Okay, so this is because the random variable x1 and x2 are statistically independent, each with variance equal to n0 by 2. Now for that we are going to use this formula. If x and y are independent random variables, then variance of ax plus by, that is equal to a square variance of x plus b square variance of y. Okay, so that's why variance of y is equal to variance of x1 plus variance of x2. Here the term a and b is equal to 1. Okay, so variance of x1, that is n0 by 2, plus variance of x2, that is n0 by 2, which will gives you n0. Now we are going to substitute these values. Now we are going to write conditional probability density function of random variable y given that symbol 0 was transmitted. As we have assumed in the starting of the derivation of error probability that we are transmitting symbol 0. Okay, that's why we are going to write the conditional probability density function of random variable given that symbol 0 was transmitted. That is given as fy of y given 0 is equal to 1 divided by root of 2 pi n naught e raised to minus y plus root of eb whole square divided by 2 n naught. Okay, you can see this equation. This equation comes from the probability density function of Gaussian random variable. Okay, that we have discussed. Okay, so that is fx of x is equal to 1 by root of 2 pi sigma square e raised to minus x minus mu the whole square divided by 2 sigma square. So we have substituted the value of mu and sigma square, that is mean and variance. So as we have calculated, we have mean as root of minus root of EB and our variance is n0. Okay, remember we are taking the value of mean given that symbol 0 was transmitted. Okay, that mean is equal to minus root of EB. Okay, now we know that the condition x1 greater than x2 or equivalently y greater than 0 corresponds to the receiver making a decision in favor of symbol 1, right? So as we have assumed, error, when does error happen? Error happen when your symbol we are transmitting 0 but we are receiving symbol 1, or your observation vector lies in z1 region and that condition is x1 greater than x2, or equivalently we can write it as y greater than 0, which is an erroneous decision. Okay, now the conditional probability of error given that symbol 0 was transmitted, that can be written as p10 is equal to p of y greater than 0 given that symbol 0 was transmitted. Okay, as we have done in your BPSK, we are again calculating for BFSK. Okay, the same procedure is here. So p10, that is equal to integration of 0 to infinity fy of y given 0 dy. Okay, since y is greater than 0, we have an integral range of 0 to infinity. Now we need to write the value of fy of y given 0, which is conditional probability density function as we have seen in the previous slide. So we substituted the value, okay, and we are going to take the integration of fy of y given 0. So that is 1 by root of 2 pi n0 integration from 0 to infinity e raised to minus y plus root of eb whole square divided by 2n naught dy. Now put u is equal to y plus root of eb divided by root of 2n naught. Okay, we are assuming u is equal to y plus root of eb divided by root of 2n naught. Then du is equal to dy divided by root of 2n naught. Now we are going to change the limit. When y is equal to 0, u is equal to root of eb by 2n naught. When y is equal to infinity, u is equal to infinity. Okay, thus your p10 becomes 1 by root of 2 pi n naught integration from root of eb by 2n naught to infinity. We have changed the limit, e raised to minus u square du root of 2n naught. Now 2n naught root of 2n naught will be cancelled. Now your equation becomes 1 by root of pi integration from root of eb by 2n naught to infinity e raised to minus u square du. Okay, now we are going to use the complementary error function as we have used in your BPSK and QPSK. Okay, so we know that your complementary error function equation is ER of CU is equal to 2 by root of pi integration u to infinity e raised to minus u square du. Okay, we need to compare this equation with this particular equation 1 by root of pi integration root of eb by 2n naught to infinity e raised to minus u square du with that complementary error function equation. So we will get it as p10 is equal to 1 by 2 ER of C u, where the value of u is root of eb by 2n naught. Okay, so if you look at that diagram of complementary error function, you can see that the p10 is equal to p01. Both sides are symmetric, right? So that's why p10 is equal to p01. Thus, the average probability of bit error or BER is PE equal to P10 P0 plus P01 P of 1. Okay, same equation as in the derivation of BPSK, QPSK, etc. Okay, for equally likely symbols, probability of 0 is equal to probability of 1. We have only two symbols 0 and 1 which is equally likely, that's why this will be equal to 1 by 2. On substituting all these values, you will get PE or probability of bit error, that is equal to 1 by 2 ER of C root of EB by 2n naught. Now let us see the generation of BPSK with the help of this block diagram. Okay, first our binary data is sent to the on-off level encoder. So we will get root of EB volt for symbol 1 and 0 volt for symbol 0. Then we can see two arms here in upward direction and in downward direction. In upward direction, it is simply multiplied with your phi 1t. In the downward direction, we have an inverter. Then we will multiply with the phi 2t. Right? Now, we are transmitting symbol 1. Okay? So, when symbol 1 goes through the upper arm, then the empty will be multiplied directly with your phi 1t. Okay? And goes to the summer. Okay, now when symbol 1 goes towards the downward direction, there we can see an inverter. So it will become 0, 1 will be converted to 0. That 0 will go to the product multiplier. In that it will multiply with phi 2t. Okay, so that will be equal to 0 and it will go to the summer. So we will get only the symbol 1 through the upper arm. Now let us see what happens when symbol 0 comes. 0 goes to the upper arm, it will multiply with phi 1t to give you 0. When 0 comes to the inverter, it will invert into 1 and will multiply with phi 2t. Okay, so you will get output as phi 2t. Okay, phi 2t multiplied by mt. Okay, from the downward direction arm. Okay, now that means only one arm will be active at a time. That is meant by this. Okay, so the output will be binary FSK signal, that is your ST. Now detection of BFSK signal. In this we are sending our XT to a correlator. Okay, so XT, again here we have two arms. From the upper arm we will get X1, from the lower arm we will get your X2, then it is summed and give you Y. That Y is given to the decision device where we have fixed a threshold that is equal to 0. So it will decide as 1 if Y is greater than 0, it will decide as 0 if Y is less than 1. As we have seen till now in your BPSK and QPSK, it is similar to that block diagram. Okay, thank you.